Welcome back to Fairy Tales with Evey. Today we'll be reading When I Grew Up, Misty Copeland. Misty Copeland is one of my favorite dancers. She has great form. I've seen her perform, and it's amazing. And did you know that Misty Copeland performed for Taylor Swift at the Grammy Awards, I think, or Grammy Awards?
American Music Awards.
American Music Awards. And you should really watch her dance. Why is this in here? Do you remember this, Mom?
Yes.
There you go.
Thank you.
I guess I never finished this book. My name is Misty Copeland. I was born on September 10, 1982, in Kansas City, Missouri. I grew up in Kansas City, Missouri. I grew up in San Pedro, California, with my mother, my older sister Erica, older brothers Chris and Doug, younger sister Lindsay, and younger brother Cameron. Here's the picture. We moved around a lot when I was growing up. Sometimes we lived in nice big houses, and other times we lived in little apartments or motel rooms. Sometimes we had plenty of food, clothes, and toys. And other times we had barely had enough to eat. Luckily, with 5 siblings, we always managed to have fun. I'm very close to my brothers and sisters. We've always taken good care of one another. I was a shy and quiet child. I worked hard in school and got good grades, but I hated when the teacher called on me in class. At home, I always let my other siblings run the show. So at home, I was surprised that I was a natural performer. I entered the elementary school talent show with Chris and Erica when I was 5 years old. We sang and danced the song, "Please, Mr. Postman." Once I got up on stage, it was like a whole new Misty was born. I loved everything about it, especially the applause. After that, I spent lots of time choreographing. There's a grass, sorry. Choreographing is the art of arranging and creating dances. Dances to Mariah Carey songs and imagining myself in front of a crowd. Here is a picture. Doo, doo, doo. When I was 7, I saw a movie about Nadia Comanche, a famous gymnast. I wanted to be just like her. I watched the movie over and over again. I practiced back bends, splits, and cartwheels for hours. My elementary school didn't have a gymnastics team, but later my middle school had a drill team. My sister Erica had been the star of the drill team when she was in middle school, and I knew I could do it too. I practiced for my audition for days. I made the drill team, and I was named captain. My job as captain was to lead rehearsals and help our coach choreograph our routines. Our coach was Elizabeth Cantine. She had studied ballet when she was younger, and she taught our team some some ballet steps and jumps. I learned quickly, and Elizabeth could see that I had a natural talent for ballet, and I love adding ballet steps to our routine. Here's the picture. My mom worked long hours. After school each day, my siblings would go to the Boys and Girls Club until our mom could pick us up. We would usually hang out, do homework, or play basketball. Elizabeth suggested I try the ballet class there. I was nervous, but I gave ballet class a try. I felt awkward and unsure there, but the teacher, Cynthia Bradley, was very patient. She took extra time to teach me the new steps, and she never made me feel bad when I needed a little extra practice. I was 13 when I started classes at Cynthia's studio. I quickly realized how much I had to learn. Most dancers start taking lessons when they are in preschool. They learn the basic steps at the bar before moving on to choreographed dances. Leaps and spins. Since I started dancing so late, I had to take a beginner's class with the little kids. I also took classes with the more advanced students. Had to learn everything all at once to catch up. My training was so fast that I danced on endpoint for the first time after only 3 months of lessons. It usually takes years of practice before a ballerina does that. Here's a picture. Hey Mom, look, she's in the same suit that I'm in.
Oh, neat.
It's just like the same suit I'm in.
Yes, I love your leotard.
Ballet came naturally to me. I learned very quickly. Cynthia realized I needed to be in more advanced lessons. She offered me free lessons at her dance studio. Elizabeth offered to pay for my supplies, including ballet slippers, point shoes, leotards, and tights. They were both so kind. It meant a lot that my teachers believed in me. I couldn't get enough of ballet. I watched videos of great ballerinas, carried my ballet magazines in my backpack, spent all my spare time practicing, but my family was having money problems, and even my mom and older siblings all working about after a year. My mom decided I needed to quit ballet. She didn't think it was fair for me to spend all my time dancing when everyone in the family was working so hard. I was devastated. I wanted to help out at home, but I didn't want to quit ballet. Here's a picture. Cynthia couldn't bear to see me give up on my dreams. She offered to let me come live with her and her family during the week so I could focus on ballet. My mom was nervous about me living away from my family, but she said yes. So I moved in with Cynthia. I loved it. Her home was so much nicer than the place my family had been living in. And her husband was an excellent cook. Mostly, I loved having so much time for ballet. Cynthia had watched ballet performances in the evenings after my classes. She gave me amazing books about ballet to read. She even took me to see Paloma Heria, one of my favorite ballerinas, perform. Cynthia also arranged for me to dance in some live performances. I started Clara in the Nutcracker, Katri and Don Quixote.
Don Quixote.
And again as Clara in a special all-African American production of the Nutcracker, renamed the Chocolate Nutcracker. Here's a picture. When I was 15, Cynthia offered to homeschool me so that I could focus more time on my ballet training. That allowed me to complete my schoolwork in the mornings and spend all afternoon and evening dancing. Next spring and afternoon in the next spring I danced a new version of my country solo from Dog Cloxé at the Los Angeles Music Center Spotlight Awards. I won the first prize scholarship and appeared in the newspaper. Later that year, I applied for a summer workshop at all the top ballet schools in the country. There, young dancers come to take classes and perform to see if they have potential to join a ballet company. I was accepted to almost all of them, but I chose to attend the San Francisco Ballet School because it was closest to home. They offered me a full scholarship, and I spent all summer there, training and taking advanced classes. The summer workshop had really helped me understand how much I had left to learn. At the end of the summer, the school had offered me a spot to train with them year-round, but I wasn't quite ready to leave my family and Cynthia behind, so I said no. I came home here's the picture. I came home from San Francisco feeling energized. I set my sights on a summer workshop, the best ballet company in the country, the American Ballet Scene in New York City, also known as ABT. I wanted to go spend all of my time dancing. I didn't want to go home to my family on the weekends anymore. But my mother decided that it was time for me to move back home. She was worried that spending all my time training wasn't healthy, so she felt that Cynthia was coming between us. My mother told me that I had to go back to high school and find a new dance teacher. I was heartbroken to move away from Cynthia and leave at the dance studio behind. For a while I was angry at my mother, but now I know that she was only doing what she thought was best for me. I moved home and returned to my high school for my junior year. I also began studying ballet with a new teacher, Deanne Lordison, at the Lordison Ballet Center. Deanne had been a dancer with the American Ballet Theater, and she was an excellent teacher. Here's the picture. With Deanne's help, I honed my skills all year that summer. I was accepted at ABT's summer workshop. Luckily, one of my best friends from the Lordison Ballet Center went too. Most of the dancers roomed together at a convent in New York City during the workshop. It was a little strange living with nuns, but I wasn't there that very much. I was too busy dancing. I loved ABT. I was able to dance some of the biggest roles at the end of summer performances. But when the workshop was over, ABT offered me a year-round spot to train with them. I wanted to stay, but after everything I had gone through with my mom, I decided it would be better to go home and finish high school first. Before I left, ABT awarded me the Coca-Cola scholarship that would pay me for a year of supplies and training back in California. They also told me that they would have a spot for me next year. It meant a lot to the people at ABT. It meant a lot that the people at ABT believed in me, and I wanted to dance for them. It was an extra honor because there weren't many African American ballerinas at the time. I went back home and enjoyed my senior year. I spent a lot of time dancing, but it also made time for normal high school stuff like sleepovers and prom. The next summer, I went back to ABT for our final summer workshop. I was done with high school, and I knew this could be the start of my professional ballet career. I'd been invited to live with Isabel Brown, one of the original ABT dancers. Isabel made sure I had met lots of people who could help me in my dance career. I got the chance to dance in the lead role in Push Comes to Shove for Twyla Tharp, a famous choreographer. Twyla's style is modern, edgy, and different from the classical ballet ABT is known for. Dancing for her proved everyone that I could dance both modern and classical ballet. Things went so well that I accepted a spot in ABT studio company. Before I started in the studio, I was invited to take a trip to China with ABT's Corps de Ballet. It was a big honor to be a guest dancer with the Corps so early in my career. It gave me a taste of what I could look forward to someday. We had performed in Shanghai, Taipei, and Singapore. I had just turned 18. It was my first trip out of country. It was an amazing experience to dance professionally with ABT and get to sightsee and experience Chinese culture. It opened my eyes how big the world was and how many places ballet could take me. Okay.
Hold it up a little higher, Evey.
Here's the picture for the next page. I'm just going to get it early on for now. Okay. I'm just exploring this picture. It looks like she could perform as Elsa in Frozen. I don't know who he could perform as. When I returned to New York City, I started dancing for ABT's studio company. The studio company is made up of 7 boys and 7 girls who dance and train together for a year. If they do well in the studio company, they are asked to join the corps at the end of the year. The studio company traveled a lot, and I was able to dance some incredible roles, including Aurora and the Pazdoodle from Sleeping Beauty. I loved being in the studio company, and it helped me grow more confident in my dancing before joining the ABT course when I was 19. A ballet company is made up of soloists, and principals who dance the main roles, as well as the corps. The chorus is about 50 ballerinas who serve as the chorus. Dancers in the corps can be very competitive because each ballerina wants to be promoted to a soloist or a principal dancer. During my first season in the corps, I've been chosen to dance the part of Clara in the Nutcracker that Christmas. It was a huge honor. But that season I fractured my lower back. I had to sit out most of the year with eye healed, so the role of Clara went to another ballerina. ABT dancers work almost year-round, 6 days a week. In the fall, perform at the Lincoln Center. At Christmas, we often perform the Nutcracker at the Brooklyn Academy of Music. And in the spring, we perform at the Metropolitan Opera House. We start each day by warming up our muscles. Then we generally rehearse from noon until 7. With short lunch breaks. During performance weeks, we rehearse from 10:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. have about 2 months off in the summer. I keep myself busy with ballet class training and other dance performances. I spent 6 years dancing in the Corps de Ballet. During that time, I matured from a teenage dancer who was a little unsure of herself into a strong, capable woman who knew she deserved the spotlight. It's a challenge to be an African American ballerina because white dancers have always dominated ballet. So I also stood out because as I matured. Well, as I matured, my body shape changed. I had curves and no longer looked like the average ballet dancer. I had to turn my differences into strengths to achieve my goals. When I was promoted to a soloist spot, I felt honored, but I knew that I had earned it. I was the first black soloist in ABT over 20 years. Being a soloist meant that I got the chance to dance bigger and better parts. Here we go. Only a couple pages left. In 2011, ABT announced that I would perform a ballet called The Firebird. The role of the Firebird was a very big part with 2 soloists and a poste duo. I was one of several ballerinas chosen to learn the part. I thought I would be likely to be an understudy since I had only been a soloist for 4 years. I was shocked when I was one of the 3 ballerinas chosen to play the Firebird. It was the biggest role I'd ever been given. I practiced so hard that I injured my shin, but I didn't let that stop me from debuting the Firebird on the Met stage. I got a lot of attention because it was one of the first times an African American ballerina danced such a prominent role. It felt great to know I was breaking boundaries and inspiring others who looked different. It was still one of my favorite performances. In the spring of 2015, I danced the lead role of a slasher dial, Swan Lake. I was the first African American to do so on the Met stage. Then, in June, I was promoted to principal dancer. I couldn't have been happier or more proud of myself. I had worked so hard for so long. I'd finally achieved my goal of becoming the first ever African American female principal dancer with ABT. Being a principal dancer means that everyone in the ballet world knows my name, and I get to dance the very best parts in each ballet. It is an honor and dream come true. Here you go. Being in the ballet spotlight has given me other opportunities too. I've done several major commercials and appeared on the cover of magazines like Time. I danced in a music video for Prince and performed with him at several of his concerts. I've also written 2 books, Life in Motion, which is my autobiography, and Firebird, which is a picture book for kids. Together, the Boys and Girls Club of America. I created an organization called Project Play to help kids from all backgrounds to discover ballet. I live in New York City, but I travel back home to California as often as I can to spend time with my family. I'm not busy when I'm not busy dancing, I love exploring the Big Apple, seeing Broadway shows, visiting museums, and going out to eat, especially at seafood restaurants. I'm so happy living out my dreams as a world-class professional ballerina. So what's next for me? My job as a principal dancer will keep me pretty busy with classes, rehearsals, and performances. But I plan to keep learning too. I want to dance all the lead roles in all of the most famous classical ballets. It's important for dancers of all backgrounds to see a black woman in these roles. I want to continue introducing more people to ballet, especially people who look like me. I may not always be able to dance professionally, but I will never stop dancing. The end. Thank you so much for listening to me today. I'll see you tomorrow. Keep watching and keep reading.